Hey guys, everybody, it is the Blonde Blitz. We are on episode number 9. I'm your co-host, Deb and joining me, as always, the one and only Miss Nikki Gist.
Hi, Deb. I missed you.
I know I missed you too.
It's been too long. It's been a couple weeks.
Well, I think it's only been a week, right? Or was it?
Is it a week?
I feel
Danny filled in last week, right? Oh, you were flying home. That's what it was, right?
I was, between work, I live East Coast, West Coast, and the flights got all messed up. I planned on being here, but then I was late and we flew in late, and I'm here now.
You're here now. That's all that matters. You're here now, so you're good.
How was the week that I missed?
It was good. It's not the same without you, but we definitely do need to get our producer a wig just in case. With your schedule and my schedule, just in case.
Yeah. You know what? I actually did buy one for him. It was going to be a surprise, but It's in New Jersey, so next time I'm home over there, I definitely need to get that going. But this NFL season, crazy! It's halfway through the NFL season. We're coming up on week 10.
I know.
What are your thoughts?
If you would have told me in April when I was covering Giants camp in the spring and OTAs and mini camp, if you would have told me on my bingo card that Tommy DeVito was going to be a starting quarterback by week 10, I would have said you were crazy. So in terms of my team, not so happy, but there's some great things going on league wide, which we're going to get into tonight. No guest for you guys tonight. You just get me and Deb, and that's okay. I think it's okay. Yeah. Some weeks we just get to jump into football and talk about what we love. So yeah, I'm excited. And we'll get into it. We have our fun segments coming back, 3 up, 3 down. There's some things that I'm excited for, but yeah, in terms of the Giants, not going as I thought it would go.
Right. Well, and I think my biggest takeaway from in the mid-season here is who would have thought that majority of the starting quarterbacks would be hurt or benched at this point? We're right now we're basically watching a league full of backup quarterbacks for the most part. That's the most mind-boggling thing for me. As far as the Eagles are concerned, I mean, obviously 8-1, they're doing great. Can't complain. I kind of feel a little bad because everyone's like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah, I mean, but still, the games are a little bit. The last one with Dallas was a little bit of a nail biter, or a lot of a nail biter. Yeah. They kind of turned into that team that you're just like, they got it, and then it's like, do they really have it? Okay, they got it.
Yeah.
So, and I think the Eagles fans are used to that, but the team is clicking. This week we're on a bye, so we've talked several times about how that the week 11 through 15. We've been talking about it since the preseason. If they started to click, they need to click now. This is it. Thank God we still have Hurts. I am concerned about that knee injury though, but yeah, I mean, week 11 is a little rough. Week 11 through 15 is rough. ESPN Analytics are predicting that the Eagles will lose their next 4 games, and that's KC, Buffalo, San Fran, and Dallas. I don't believe it. Tough. What do you think?
That's a tough schedule, though, Deb.
It is. It's a very, and like I said, we've been talking about that from the preseason.
Yeah.
That those weeks are
what's the lineup? Who is it again?
So it's Kansas City, Buffalo, San Francisco, and then Dallas again.
And they said how many?
4. They're going to lose 4.
Oh, 4. No, they'll win 1. Yeah. At least 1 or 2. I'm going to say 2. I'll say they'll go 2-2.
Okay, I agree with you. I don't think they're going to lose all 4, but yeah, that's what he's
I think they probably beat San Francisco, probably beat Dallas again.
Yeah. But if Debo's coming back and he's scheduled to play this week, and they just got Chase Young, which I'll talk about in my 3 up and 3 down. So yeah, I mean, they might be Buffalo though. Something's up with Buffalo.
Yeah, something's up with Buffalo.
Right.
We'll talk about it in 3 up, 3 down. I wonder if we should just go 3 up, 3 down.
Let's go do it. What do you have for 3 up?
All right. So my first up here, how about it? The Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, everybody, he has arrived. And to Deb's credit, She
Yes.
talked about it all season. She talked about it in our prediction show. She's been singing his praises since September.
Yep.
And she was right. And sometimes with these rookies, you guys got to give them a little bit of time. I always say that, Deb, we're in such like a win right now league, right? Just get in there, throw you in there, and like go win a Super Bowl. And it just doesn't, not everybody's Pat Mahomes, right? So, and you got to think of the situation that this kid came into going to the Houston Texans. Not exactly, the greatest franchise out there.
Absolutely. So I'm glad to see them winning.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know what? Deb kept the faith. She's been telling us really since the summer about this kid.
I saw him in the combine and I was like, I like this kid. Like I had a feeling, and he's actually in my 3-up as well, but go ahead. So
yeah, no, we can share this one. I mean, basically you nailed it here. He threw for 470 yards, 5 touchdowns. Like no rookie has done that. And, I just think the team in general, right? So they got Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins. So they've got a lot to be excited about. Fun stat that I saw, Deb. I don't know if you have this on your side there. Mm-hmm. The Texans have only won 10 games over the past 3 years.
I have not seen that one, and that's a great stat.
Crazy.
Look at Nick bringing the stats. I love it.
Bringing the stats tonight.
I know, right? You got to get me in the fantasy thing now. With Nick bringing the stats, I love it. Honestly, the only other thing I have to add to that was Straub was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week this week. So I was excited to see him there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What else do you want me to – I'll go my number one.
Yeah.
Number 1 3-up. Let's do it. Sorry, I'm going to apologize in advance, but the Raiders game.
You found an up in there? Oh, okay.
I don't make a laugh, but I mean, they look like a completely different team. I mean, obviously fired their head coach, Josh McDaniels, GM, Dave Ziegler. They benched Garoppolo, which I don't know if I exactly agree with, but he's benched for the time being. It all worked. They won over the Giants 30-6. I mean, literally looked like this team was reborn. From the ashes of Allegiant Stadium, basically. I mean, O'Connell, he looked good. Hunter Renfrow kind of reemerged. Josh Jacobs got 2 touchdowns. Jacoby Myers had a touchdown. It was just a completely different team from what we have seen in the previous weeks, and I was glad to see it because I think another team needs to fire their head coach too, but we'll talk about that later.
I mean, the Giants are the get right team and game for everybody. Yes. So if you're struggling, and you got the Giants on your schedule, you can feel good about that, unfortunately.
What was your number 2?
So how about it for Josh Dobbs? I mean,
we have the same ones.
The same one? Oh no. Listen, really, I just hats off to him improvising on the fly. He's making play with his legs and just like commanding that offense. I mean, he looked like he had commanded that offense for years. So
and he never played with any. He never took one snap before. Like he literally was brought in a couple of days prior and was doing it on the sideline. And like the head coach was in his ear telling him, plays to run. And it's honestly a miracle. I feel like.
It is. That's why he's on our 3-up, 3-down. But yeah, hats off to him. I mean, that's a true professional right there.
Yeah, I mean, just to jump in there. I mean, he didn't. I have a stat here too. He was named NFC Player of the Week. He had 224 offensive yards total in that game, 3 touchdowns, and he came in after the first quarter because the backup quarterback. Jaron Hall, who I barely even know who that is. Exactly. His name's Jaron Hall. He took over for Kirk Cousins, obviously, when Kirk went down with the Achilles problem, and then he took over. He got a concussion in the first quarter, and that's when Joshua Dobbs came in. And it was. Did you watch that game?
Some of it,
same. Yeah, I did see that play, and he went down, and he actually got up, but all of the players around him were like, no, and they were calling over the refs, and when they replayed it, you could obviously see him hitting his head. So and honestly, the look on Joshua Dobbs' face was brilliant because he was like, oh my God, I'm in.
Oh God. Next man up, everybody.
And then I forget who they said was the backup to Joshua Dobbs. Obviously not needed, but it was like a wide receiver was the emergency quarterback
Right.
if Dobbs went down. I forget who they said it was, but it was just kind of a crazy, events that happened that game. But yeah, no, I mean, again, like I said, a miracle. Like, how do you just jump in like that? And it reminded me of the Commanders-Eagles game last season when like all of the quarterbacks had COVID and Garrett Gilbert played.
Oh,
He
right.
didn't win though. They didn't win. The Eagles won, but he played a hell of a game.
COVID season was crazy. That was insane. That was crazy.
Nuts. So what is your third one? Because I think those are my three.
Okay. My third one is the AFC North. I mean, let's talk about it a little bit, Deb. Is this the best division in football? I mean, every year I know they're beating each other up. I mean, right now they're all over 500. They all look like they could make, a run here for the playoffs. I mean, it's a really, really, really tough division, even on like a down year. You know what I mean? Even say a down year for the Steelers, you still can't ever count them out. You just can't.
You just cannot. He always has a trick up his sleeve.
Cleveland's finding a way. That defense is like ripping through people.
Legit.
Yes. So I don't know. They're definitely on the up. Not that they were on the down, but they've had down years. But this division is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, in NFC East, I think, I don't know about that because it's just really Eagles jealous at this point.
Right.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. Actually, you know what? I do have another one. I do have another up that I love. So the NFL's oldest player has taken the field. It was Aaron Rodgers, so he owned the honor of that. But last week, Jason Peters, he's 41. He's an offensive lineman. He signed with the Seahawks. And saw some action in that Sunday night game against the Ravens. So I was happy to see someone in their 40s playing football.
I love how football's like, oh my God, this running back is ancient, and they're like 32.
Yeah, he's
like
30.
Oh, okay.
It's so sad, right? It's like, oh my goodness. So I like that. Okay, let's go to the downs. Should I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. My down is Buffalo. We just kind of alluded to that in our open here with you guys. They really need to get their offense going a lot earlier than they do. Turnovers are killing this team. And I have said this, I feel like every week for the past 2 years, they rely so heavily on Josh Allen, particularly in the run game. And they don't have to. They absolutely, they do not have to. Josh Allen, 44 yards on 8 attempts.
Yep.
Cook and Murray combined had 24 yards on 8 carries. Like, we don't need to do that. So Buffalo, I really question what we're doing here. You don't need to rely on Josh Allen that heavily. Get the run game going. Get this offense going earlier than what you're doing. So they're on the down for me this week.
Yep. And on the down for me, this is why I wanted you to go first, is the Giants. I don't think there's any surprise there. Again, my apologies.
No.
I mean, honestly, I'm bummed because like what a horrible follow-up to Brian Daboll's first year, right? Like that's my main point there. With Daniel Jones leaving, Tommy DeVito had to replace him and had the minus yard passing. Like, how did that happen? Tyrod Taylor's on IR. The defense just got torched. I mean, like O'Connell had 9 of 10 for 135 in the first half. He hadn't put up more than 77 in a full game before Sunday. And then the Raiders hadn't scored more than 21 points in a game all season. And they had 24 points at halftime against the Giants. So, I mean, Nikki, I'll let you speak to it because it's your team. So, obviously, just not a good season at this point.
It is not. And, to your point, really, it is a shame that this is the follow-up to Brian Daboll's Coach of the Year win last year and making the playoffs. And, winning a playoff game. I think a lot of us were optimistic last year that they would beat Minnesota. I did not give them a chance in hell to go into Philly and actually stand a chance, just being realistic. So, you could say, yeah, did this team overachieve? I think what's happening this year is what everybody thought would happen last year.
Absolutely.
So to come off of that and overachieving and making the playoffs and having some momentum and feeling good, and then to see this happen, it's kind of like, wait, we thought this was going to be the other way around. It is just a series of unfortunate events for this team, and it sucks. I've had to embrace the suck because there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, what can you do? I mean, Deb, the Eagles have had down years, and you just kind of have to. You just kind of have to
root them on. Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of the Philly fans boo them at that point, but I still root them on. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to root for them to win. We kind of got into this debate a little bit earlier in the week. I mean, when my team is playing, good year, bad year, this whole like lose out and tank, there's something in me that I just can't root for them to lose. I want them to win the game. Like whether I expect them to win or not, I want them to win. Do you ever do that? Do you ever root or have you ever rooted for the Eagles to lose?
I mean, there's times where I've picked the other teams on my pick'ems and whatnot because I know the other team is better, and I feel horrible for doing it. And this is probably one of the first times I'm actually admitting to this, but I do it enough. And so I never want my team to lose. I bleed green. I wear a green ring because of it. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it just. Other teams are better. I don't know about this season or last season, but teams in the past or games in the past. Yeah,
well, that's different. I feel like if we have picks out there and we kind of want, or your fantasy team or something like that. Right. But I mean, there's fans out there that are just like, they just want you to tank. I can't root for the tanking all the time.
Never. No. Well, what's your number 2 on the down?
Seattle is on the down for me. Not a great week coming off of playing against the Ravens.
Yes.
Not
what happened?
I told you guys, as Deb nailed it with CJ Stroud, I told you guys in the beginning of the season
about Geno Smith.
Show. Yes, I said Geno Smith's going to take a step back. He's had 3 consecutive games where he's had multiple turnovers in the game. And Deb, you're not going to win football games like that. You've got to protect the ball. So I think Geno Smith needs to get on the right track here. But for me, Seattle, I know playing the Ravens is not easy, but it hasn't been great for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and my next one is the Commanders, who actually beat the Patriots, so they're not so bad. But how do you trade Chase Young and Montez Sweat in the same week? Like, I mean, I get it. They're rebuilding. They're getting draft picks. I get it. But I feel like we're halfway through the season, and you're completely just giving up by trading those 2 people. Mm-hmm. Granted, I'm going to love seeing Chase Young play in San Fran and maybe Montez Sweat in Chicago. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a big Chase Young fan. I have been for a while, and I knew there was a problem when they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. I knew he was kind of on the chopping block, but I didn't think they'd do it now when they still have a bit of a chance. And I think it actually started a couple of years ago in OTAs. He didn't show up, and I knew then it was like, ooh, like. I know like OTAs they're not mandatory, but like you got to show up to those things. You
got to be there. They're implied. They're not mandatory, but it's implied. Get your ass to OTA.
I mean, especially when he was like the face of that team. Right. Like he was like, So I think that's when it started and then he got hurt. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do for San Fran because I think he can actually help them. And I think that's where a little bit of their issues in defense is happening. And then also offense with Purdy. But yeah, that my second one is the Commanders and just being like, why all of a sudden did you just get rid of 2 of your amazing defense players? But
I'm excited to see Chase Young go to a better organization.
Okay. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yep. I am a fan of him. I was super high on him. I know he was dealing with injury, but I as a fan of the sport, I'm excited to see him play to his potential. And now that he's out of the NFC East, like, go for it. Go ham.
Right? Oh,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah.
We still have to, but we still have to play them for that.
I mean, you guys will. I mean, you're right.
That's my worry. But yes. But yeah, the Giants. And then my last one for 3 down is I think the Patriots, their dynasty is just officially over at this point. With that loss to the Commanders, they're now 5 games under 500 for the first time since 2000. They went 262 straight games without falling 5 games under, and which is the 3rd longest in NFL history. But yeah, I think the Patriots are done. And that brings up the question about Belichick for sure. So,
what do you think, Deb? Is he?
No, and I knew you were going to ask me that. It's hard to say he's done. I mean, obviously he's going to end up, he's going to finish out this season, but it's hard to look at him because you know how passionate he is on that sideline and how much he wants his team to win and does what he can. But like, it's going to be sad to see him go, but it's just like, what do you do in that instance? One of the best coaches in the NFL ever. It's like Andy Reid leaving. You know what I mean? It's just, what do you do?
I think it's time. I think
you're so more like upfront than I am. I'm so wishy-washy.
I think it's time. I think it's time to just listen. I mean, he had talk about a great run for a lack of better word, really. I mean, historical. I mean, it's just not going to get replicated. I don't think. I mean, we got Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes over there, but I think it's time. Like, let's just hang it up and thank you so much for everything you've done, Bill Belichick. I'm sure Patriots fans have nothing but love, respect, admiration for him. But I think you get to a point where, and I don't know, I don't cover that team. I'm not in the locker room, but we see this with coaches, right? I'm not saying he lost the locker room, but we saw it with Tom Coughlin. With the Giants, right? It was just time, or they felt it was time for a change. You still can't get it right, but I just think that it's time for a change in New England.
Mm-hmm. Who would you go with?
I don't know. I would have to think about that one.
I mean, what coach?
I know. I talk about big shoes to fill, right? I mean,
yeah, and scary shoes to fill too.
Scary, ugly shoes to fill with cut off sleeves and stuff. Like, not that Bill Belichick's ugly, but this situation is because it's like following like this great, act, and you're like, oh, I got to go on after them. Like, oh man, I don't want to do that. So I think it's time for Bill Belichick to hang it up, and I will hang up our third up, third down with my last one. Really nothing much going on here in Chicago. I am sure that they want Justin Fields back as soon as possible. Looks like he will not be playing this week. So they have Tyson. How do you say his last name? Baggett?
Baggett.
Okay. Who has thrown 5 interceptions in the past 2 weeks. They're 2-7. So it looks like just another lost cause of a season for them, which is a shame. I really like Justin Fields.
Well, I love Justin Fields. I was excited to see Tyson get win that one game because he's got such a crazy kind of Cinderella story. He either played Division 2 or Division 3 ball, and that's next to impossible to make it into the NFL and then actually be a starting quarterback at one point. Like, that's right. But he kind of did great that first game and then just went downhill from there. So I'd like to see Justin Fields back as well.
Yeah.
And I love seeing DJ Moore play at his potential. You know what I mean?
I know.
So I think the two of them together, that connection is really, really nice to watch. So shall we? So what do you have this week for your starts and sits? I always want to hear what you got.
All right. Starts and sits for Week 10. Cannot believe we are at Week 10 already for fantasy football. It's crazy. So first one for me is Dalton Schultz. He's found the end zone four times in his last 5 games. great chemistry with CJ Stroud. So he is becoming his go-to target. I expect him to have a really nice day on Sunday. He's getting a Bengals defense. They've allowed the most fantasy points per game to tight ends. So you have to think that Cincy is going to lock down Houston's receivers, and that's going to leave Dalton Schultz open for some volume and targets. So love him this week. Michael Pittman, I don't think he's been on my start list for a minute here, if not at all this season. He's had at least 8 targets in 3 of his last 4 games. So his volume to me is just too good to ignore. Very favorable matchup in the Patriots, who are just on Deb's down 3. So Patriots have allowed the 5th most yards and 2nd most touchdowns to receivers. So fantasy football, all about matchups. And of course, my love, Joe Burrow. We all know how much I love him. He is red hot right now. And
red hot.
I mean, I tell Danny all the time, I tell you guys all the time, I love to ride a hot hand. Love to ride some other things with Joe Burrow, but I mean, you guys have got to,
I mean, if we're being honest, no.
I mean, hey, okay. What, I don't know. There's something about him. He's just got that swag. I mean, I don't know. He's entirely too young for me, if I have to be honest here. Yeah, but he has been QB1 for the past 3 weeks. So Joe Burrow on your starting lineup. Deb, anyone you want to add to that? Agree, disagree on the starts?
No, I mean, I wasn't really thinking. You know what? I'll do it next week.
Okay. All right. So sits for this week. Kareem Hunt. He's had fewer than 40 yards in his last 2 of 3 games, and he's still playing second fiddle to Jerome Ford. So, I don't think this is the week. Don't bank on him scoring a touchdown. He's going up against the Ravens defense. So this is not the week to bank on that. I know you were high on the Raiders, but I am sitting Jacoby Myers. I know he had a rushing touchdown against the Giants. Just take that for what it's worth. Other than that, he hasn't really done much, catching 2 of 5 targets for 38 yards. He's facing the Jets team, and they are stingy on defense, guys. They've allowed the fewest yards, touchdowns, and fantasy points to receivers this season. So please stay away from that if you can. And I got a kicker for you guys to sit. Randy Bullock. I get this question a lot. Nikki, I'm streaming kickers. I do too. The Giants just picked him up. He scored 0 fantasy points last week. They're going up against the Cowboys. We're on our 3rd string quarterback. If you could stream anybody other than Randy Bullock, go for it. Those are my sits for the week.
All right. Let's get to our game picks, shall we? Talking about Joe Burrow. We've got the Texans and the Bengals. Texans are 4-4. The Bengals are 5-3. What are your thoughts?
Well, Deb, I mean, your guy CJ Stroud is red hot. My guy Joe Burrow is red hot. So this is going to be a hot game, right?
I literally in my notes went, wait for offensive explosion, Stroud versus Burrow. OMG. That's what my notes say.
That's it. OMG. If you guys could only see our notes, right? Like, could you imagine, if anybody actually had to read them, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
I mean, Cincinnati, like you said, they're clicking in all cylinders right now. They've turned around. They were 1-3 in the start. Now they're on a 4-game winning streak. So, yeah.
Cincy is a really tough pass defense, though, right? They're very strong corners, bookends over there. I just think the AFC North is just going to continue to get messier. I do have Cincinnati winning. I have it 33-22. So I have the Bengals winning and covering. But I think this is going to be one hell of a game.
Yeah, and I actually have them covering as well. With the Texans with CJ Stroud playing so well. I think this will be their toughest test since week 1, the opener over the Ravens. But I think I love this Texans story that we have going on. But so my score, the Bengals are now their favorite by 7. I've got Bengals 27, Texans 23.
All right. Yes, Darius. The Bengals are my second favorite team. And so, Deb, I mean, I did say on air last week that if the Giants lost, I was gonna order my Bengals gear. So did order it. As soon as it comes, I will let you guys know. I will take a picture because you know what? Not for nothing. I know we're not on the DM, the WTF like tweet or DM of the week yet, but I literally get all these DMs of people asking me like, hey, can you wear a Chargers shirt? Hey, can you wear a Kansas City shirt? And like send me a picture. Like,
are you paying for that?
Right. That's the thing. Here we go again. Like, you guys got to pay for this.
I'm not wearing any other team jersey unless I'm getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. Don't you dare ask me to wear Kelly Green. I don't think any of you will, but don't ask me.
I mean, that would just be the ultimate right there. If we could get Nikki into an Eagles, I don't see it.
Do you know how much you'd have to pay for that?
No. Or like be on your deathbed, or you know what I mean? Like, or when, like not on your deathbed, but literally like when I lived in Atlanta, I would not wear a Braves hat to save my life. Like I'd represent, I'd be like ATL, like here we go. But you would literally have to kill me to get a Braves cap on my head just because I'm such a Phillies fan. So yeah, it's the same way.
See, you get it. I literally bounced at the Eagles cheerleaders audition because I just couldn't play myself like that. I just couldn't do it. Yeah. Now, Deb is an ex-cheerleader and dancer, as am I. Our careers are like, you know, that's you compartmentalize that, right? Mm-hmm. This is the opportunity to cheer, dance in the NFL and move along in your career. I am psychotic and was like, I can't wear this uniform. I'm not going. My friends were like, are you serious, Nick? So I'm not going. I can't do that.
That's too funny.
Something wrong with me.
No, but you're just passionate, and that stands for something for sure. All right, let's get to the Browns and the Ravens game. Another really good game. It's Sunday, 1 p.m. The Browns. I'm sorry, the Ravens are 7-2. I don't have the Browns record here, but it's good. So
it's good. Everybody's good in AFC North. Don't worry about it.
This is a divisional game, so yeah, to be honest, and this is a really, really funny kind of point I wanted to bring up. So one of my friends, she's a psychic, right? Oh, and she told me that she had a vision that the Ravens win the Super Bowl.
What?
Swear to God. And I was like, should I go bet that right now? Like, because now it's kind of, she told me this like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, we'll see. And now as it's kind of like coming true, I'm like, oh, like, because I mean, right now they're in the number one spot per the Athletic, and like basically on the top of the AFC as well. Right. So, yeah, I mean, Ravens, they're just on a wear and tear, like they're on a tear and wear. It seems that as you said in the beginning, you know, they've got a great rush. Their defense is killer. But the Browns have a good defense too. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I sincerely hope you bet that before you just told the whole world.
I know. I didn't. I should make a phone call tonight, huh?
All right. I'm gonna go place a bet right after the show. But I am seeing a lot of that. Everybody is jumping on the Ravens bandwagon, and listen, they're a good team. This is going to be a great game. We're in for a defensive battle. We just talked about how great Cleveland's defense is. The Ravens, they really do have one nasty pass rush going on there. I'm going to give the edge to the Ravens and their run game because they are just cooking with that run game right now. I think it's 20-17 Baltimore, so I have the Ravens winning, but I don't have them covering. It's 5.5, I think, right? Oh, 6. Okay,
it's
I thought it was 5.
6. Yeah, it's 6.
That's a lot.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I agree with you totally. The Browns, they shut out the Cardinals though, 27-0. Right. Granted, they didn't have a quarterback because he went to the Vikings, but at that point. But I mean, Deshaun Watson is back, even though he's not my favorite quarterback. Didn't miss a beat, and the Browns have one of the best defenses, in the NFL. So Ravens are favored by 6. I think the Ravens are are on a streak. I don't think it's ending. I think this is going to be a very close game, though. I think it's going to be 1 or 2 points. I'm going Ravens 27, Browns 25.
Interesting score.
Yeah, right. I thought so too. As I wrote it, I was like,
like what?
Yeah. I'm like, well, 1 or 2 points. What are we thinking for 49ers, who are 5-3, and the Jaguars, who are 6-2? Another good game. Wow.
I know this slate. I mean, this week we've got some really good games. Darius, let us know who your second favorite team is, because I feel like people who have like a second favorite team, like they don't want to be vocal about it, you know? So tell everybody who your second favorite team is. So 49ers, Jaguars. What I think is so interesting here is neither Kyle Shanahan or Doug Peterson really have a great track record after a bye.
Right. Good point.
You know, San Francisco, they got to go cross country. So what, 1 o'clock game, right? I don't know. I just think that San Fran defense is really going to give that Jacksonville a really hard time. And that's what's going to help Brock Purdy, you know, perform better. So I'm going to go San Francisco 27, Jags 24.
Okay. Well, I know both teams obviously hanging around the top of their conference. 49ers with a bye last week. I think it was the perfect time. They needed that pause. And Nikki, again, to give you props, the last couple of weeks, I was like, there's no way that San Fran is going to lose 3 in a row. And Nikki was like, yeah, they are. And they did. So.
And they did. Because Blonde's no ball on this show, despite what you guys all think.
I was like, there's no way. And Nikki's like, yeah, there is. And they did. So, I mean, I guess I'm just bummed. And I also, you guys know, but I personally on my Facebook put there at one point, there's no way San Fran is getting beat this season because they had the most balanced team. They did then, and then injuries started plaguing. But I've got such crap from everybody. Once my phone started blowing up the second they lost that first game, and then it just hasn't stopped. So anyway, just had to give you props there. But yeah, anyway, they needed that pause. Brock Purdy needs to get back, to basically 2022 to hit himself then. I love the Chase Young. Let's see what he can do. I think he can help this defense. But the Jags are coming off a bye too. So, obviously young and hungry squad. They're on a 5-game winning streak right now. That puts them, up at the top of the AFC. All sides of the ball have been on point. I personally think they're poised to win another division title, but I'm not sure if they're actually going to win this game though. San Fran is favored by 3. Samuel and Trent Williams are tracking to play, which I'm also very excited. Addition of Chase Young, I sound like a broken record. They are playing on the road in Jacksonville, which will be difficult, but I feel like San Fran bounces back this week. I have San Fran 27, Jags 20.
Oh, all right. So we both have San Fran scoring 27 points. All right.
Okay. Got it. And then we also have Lions. Got another good game. All right. I'm really excited for Sunday now. Lions are 6-2, and the Chargers are 4-4. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. So Lions, they are full strength after this bye week. They are all rested. And they've regrouped. I think they're going to give Justin Herbert a really hard time. I think what happens with the Chargers, and you can speak to it better than I can, but I think they get a little too one-dimensional because their weapons are limited. So I think the Lions are going to hold that Chargers pass rush in check. I've got it. Detroit, what do I have? 31, Chargers 24. So I have them winning and covering.
Okay. A little different perspective. I'll talk
good. Okay, good.
No, I mean, in the end, we're the same. But how I get there is a little different. So I'm going to talk about the Chargers first, obviously, because I cover them. And also to Nikki, I never thought that from watching, before preseason and playing, covering training camp and such, I never thought that they would have the record of 4-4 right now. Like, they looked so great, but it just hasn't played out, obviously. But thank God they won in Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Against the Jets. They won 27-7, which, granted it was the Jets, even though they do have a great defense. I feel like the Chargers are a better team than the Jets. So, Keenan Allen, he made history by notching 10,000 career receiving yards. And Austin Eckler had 2 touchdowns as well. And, obviously Los Angeles, their defense, who have definitely struggled this season, they sacked Zach Wilson 8 times. So it was good to see them, actually play out what they're capable of. Yeah, I feel like the Chargers, they win, they win, then they lose, then they lose, then they win, then they lose. And I feel like they need to take a page out of the Raiders playbook at this point and get rid of that head coach. That's where I was going.
Yes.
I fire somebody every show.
You do. Every single show, Deb is firing people. You guys are lucky. I mean, you guys are, if she was in charge of the NFL, everybody'd be gone. That's it.
So I think this game with the Lions definitely isn't going to be as easy as the Jets. The Lions are favored by 2.5. I agree that the Lions are the better team here. They've got the second best offense in the NFL. They're coming off their bye. What else? They had a 4-game winning streak. Hasn't been recent, but I think they could do it. They're expected to have David Montgomery back from a rib injury too. So also the Detroit fans travel. They're so excited this season. I see why. I feel like SoFi will be a Lions home game.
The Lions Den?
Yeah, the Lions Den's going to be in SoFi. I hate to say it. Love my Chargers, but I say Lions 34, Chargers 28.
All right.
So those are the 4. Anyone else? Any other game we want to talk about here?
Well, I guess we should talk about Giants-Cowboys. Wah, wah, wah. Wow, 16. Okay, well, it's 17 points, I guess,
Oh my God, it's almost oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That hurts.
Oh boy.
That
I'm laughing. I don't even have a comment. Dear Lord. I mean, obviously divisional rivals. It's in Dallas. Oh boy, it just keeps getting worse.
It does, Deb. It truly does just keep getting worse.
Oh, well, I mean, what do you think the Giants would have to do to win this game? I'll ask you that. I don't know. I can't answer.
Just burn it to the ground and completely start over. If you could do that in the next couple days, what is it, Wednesday? Yeah. So if you guys can manage that.
Yet? Yeah. I won't fire him yet. I like him. So
Okay. He's not fired yet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many problems. That's kind of the point, that there's just too many problems. There are some teams out there where it's like, oh, we are just X player, X unit away from, getting on the right track. But unfortunately with the Giants, there's just way too many problems. I sound like a broken record because it's like, how have you not gotten the offensive line together in 12 years? We've gone through multiple coaches since Tom Coughlin, left the organization, and still the same problem: special teams, injuries, always the most injured team. Offensive line still can't get right. I mean, it's just doesn't even matter who's on the coaching staff. It's crazy to me. So to have to go into Dallas with Tommy DeVito, and I know. It's cruel. I mean,
I don't even know if I'd be able to watch it, to be honest.
We need the mercy. Like, I just.
Yeah. Well, that's probably
have to play this game. Do we have to do this? Just give the Cowboys the win. Listen.
Don't play the game. Just give them the win.
Just give them the win. Now it looks like Saquon maybe dealing. I think I saw some, a little bit with the ankle. I mean, just shut it down at this point. I just don't even. I don't know. I'm gonna watch. I have to watch.
Of course.
I'm not happy about it. So if you guys remember, week 1, it was 40-0. So
that's right. Let's hope we don't have a repeat of that. But it sounds like you guys are even in. At least you had your starting quarterback at that point.
Right. I'm gonna give the Giants a little grace. I think it's like 30-9 because the defense does have its moments. I think they will be able to get to Dak.
That's true. I mean, but Parsons is just so powerful. Like, that's gonna be
Tommy DeVito can't throw the ball, so Matt Barkley is the backup. So if any of you out there want
Anybody else going to be a quarterback?
anybody available, looks like we might need someone.
What a nightmare.
Yeah, it's rough times here in New York, but we just I'd like to say at least I've got the Knicks, but it's not really.
What do you? Let's kind of change the subject. What do you think of Wentz going to the Rams?
I not a fan of Wentz, but I would have taken him.
Yeah, and that's where my thought process was when we said, are there any quarterbacks available? I was like, Carson Wentz just got signed.
I know.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed that Stetson Bennett. I don't know what's wrong. I like Stetson Bennett. He's out at the moment. He was the second/third backup, so they didn't have. They don't have a quarterback, so they just signed Wentz as a backup. So it's interesting to go from being an Eagles fan from when he was drafted and now all of a sudden like to see his kind of demise, going after the Eagles to the Colts and then to the Commanders and now being Sam to the Rams. Not a fan either, but it's just weird to see him as a backup. But
yeah, I mean, hey, good for him. He's getting another shot. My thing with Carson Wentz is, and if you've watched me long enough, I've said it for almost 4 years now. He just he malfunctions at the worst time possible. Yep. It's like a complete meltdown happens, and it's like he'll have a great game. You get to the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and it's like
loses it all. Yep.
What happens?
He repeatedly does that. That's he doesn't somehow he doesn't fix it. And then also too, there's the rumors of him not being great in the locker room. Some of them have been debunked. I don't know the real story. So
right.
Not
good for the Rams.
Yeah, So we'll see. What what the F like WTF time? Do you have anything? I always look forward to this segment every week.
Well, I actually I've been getting a lot of hate, so it's not like funny WTF. Tweets and DMs.
I know. I saw you post that. I was like, what's going on with Nikki? Like, what are people saying to you? I get none of this, by the way. Just in general, just like I don't get DM. Like people don't talk to me. Like people talk to me. I'm feeling unpopular.
Everybody go talk to Deb, but be nice to her. Go talk to Deb. No, you know what it is. It's just so I kind of ran with the joke now. Everybody's joking that I wear 5 pounds of makeup. And, I just think like when you I grew up dancing on stage under bright lights and cheering. And so I'm used to like maybe wearing more than normal, but when you're on camera, you just, you gotta do it up a little bit. So, I just get battered. It's, I wear too much makeup. I've messed with my face too much. It's too much Botox. It's too much lip filler. Your hair's too blonde. You're too tan. You're dumb. You're stupid. I mean, it's just running the gauntlet, and it's every day now. And
you're getting these as DMs or you're
sometimes they're comments or they're DMs. Yeah. It's just, lovely people out there.
All publicity is good publicity, and at least people are talking about you. So turn that into a positive. So
that is true. Everybody, they hate us because they ain't us. So
exactly. Boom.
Sounds like a personal problem. You guys with your little like avatars living in your mom's basement. I don't know what you're doing, but coming at me. So you can keep on. That's fine. I don't care.
Well, if anyone could take it, Nikki can take it, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. Let's go. But I did, Deb. I got recognized sitting in traffic yesterday.
Oh my God.
Can I tell you this story?
Yes, please. And then we'll wrap it up.
We'll wrap it up. So we'll end on a good note. So I was in Long Island yesterday on an appointment, sitting in traffic, and this guy is like frantically honking at, and I'm like, I thought it was just, listen, being New York, jerks or whatever, just honking. I'm like, you can't move. I'm just sitting there. There's nowhere to go. Right. Motioning,
you're
roll your window down.
Giving their finger to someone.
Yeah, like there's nothing I can do about it. Can't go anywhere, dude.
Right.
Roll my, like I say, roll my window. I'm so old. But so put your window down, right? And okay. He's like, Nikki, oh my God, we love Nikki Nick. Of course, the inside of your car is pink because I have like the lights and you can change the lighting in your car. Yeah. So I have hot pink, like of course. And I was like, did I just get recognized in traffic?
Yep.
Yes, I did.
That's awesome. I got recognized one time on the red carpet, but I thought
On the red carpet.
Like, it was from another reporter. So I just I looked at them, and I've been in the industry a while and sports for a bit, and I just think like they're like, "Hi, Deb," and they kind of felt like I should know them, and so I'm looking at them and I'm like, "Hi," and in my head I'm like, "Do I know this person? Am I just forgetting who they are? Do I know their name? Like, how do I know this person?" And they were like, "You don't know me, but I follow you on," and I was like, "Oh, okay, hi."
Aww.
It was super cool. We still talk all the time, but yeah, it was really cool to just that was just cool. It's just cool. So
cool moment.
So
cool
guys,
moment.
no more negative DMs, no more negative. Let's bring the positivity into all of this, because the world needs some positivity right now for sure. So
yes, we definitely need some positivity, and it's always a positive time on the Blonde Blitz. We have a good time. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Don't forget that Blonde Blitz is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use code BLONDE and play with some house money. That wraps up our week 10 show. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe button to the Fantasy Sports Corporation so you can get that little notification that we are live. And yes, I did a live Giants Raiders podcast Sunday at RA, and I converted some of you. I converted you to Nikki fans. So some subscribers we got, which was great. So make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. As you know, we have a great slate of games this week. We are excited. Deb, you get to just watch, right?
Yeah,
no stress.
I never get to do that. So it's super cool to just be able to just watch it and just watch football and chill out. So
it's the best. This is what we love. And we will see you guys next week as we get ready for week 11. All right, everyone, have a good night and go Bengals.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.